Hey, what's up, guys? It's FMotL446 here. I just wanted to give you guys an update on one of my recent arrests. This is my first arrest. Um, but this time I was arrested for my civil disobedience and my lawful rebellion against the local municipality, because not only did they failed to recognize my legal tender, but they also failed to recognize my lawful license plate. So yeah, I put my own license plate on there, because I put state license plates of this foreign entity, of the corporate entity of the state, on my vehicle whenever I'm driving. But when I'm traveling, I put my own license plate because I have that right, I have the obligation, and I utilize that privilege. It's mine, my privilege. I would be recording in the house as usual. However, my mom's inside right now. She did help me out on bail. But I was traveling down the highway, and that is whenever some public servants of the state of Ohio had pulled me over because they failed to recognize my vehicle, my license plate, and I gave them my identification. Let me turn this car on. It's getting kind of cold. So some of you don't know, we're gonna get a lot of storms out here right now, but I was pulled over, and that is whenever one of the officers approached me and asked for my my license and proof of insurance. And I told him that, well, I didn't tell him anything. I just went through the same spiel. I didn't roll my window down because I'm not obligated to roll my window down all the way down. It's not in the law of the Ohio Penal Code that a subject has to roll the window down all the way. I could hear them just fine, and he kept playing that whole "I can't hear you" card just because that's their excuse to get at you. That's their excuse. That's how they get into your vehicle. It's the same if you have an officer at your front door. You don't open that. You do not open your front door when there's an officer there. You can talk to them through the door. They can talk to you through the door. If you open it, that is, in some cases, they take that as you inviting them in, and they can arrest you if they don't have an arrest warrant at that point in time. Anyway, though, I was pulled over, and I rolled my window down just enough to where I could make sense of what he was saying. He could make sense of what I was saying, but just playing that spiel. And after a while, I just started speaking up, whatever. I was giving him respect, though. Because I'm the kind of person, if you show me respect, I show you respect in return. But he was respectful at first, as most public servants are. He asked for my license and proof of insurance, and I demanded to know why I was pulled over, because I have that privilege to know why a public servant is pulling me over. And he would not say at that moment. He would only say that he would hand over his information if and when. Well, he would only tell me why I was pulled over only when I identified myself. However, he did identify himself. That is Officer Hernandez. I will not go into further details because I'm handling it with the courts and the admiralty entities. But I asked for a supervisor because I'm sure, most supervisors are trained, and they're trained to deal with people who know the shit, know the law of the land. And I was speaking with this officer, and I asked to speak to the supervisor, and he said I'll get him, he's on his way, and all this other stuff. But he kept asking me for my ID and proof of insurance. And I had the car in park, of course. But then he asked me to put the car in park. I already told him no, I already did that, and I just put on the e-brakes, And whenever I try to put on the e-brakes just to make him feel more safe, that's whenever he pulls his gun on me and says, keep my hand on the wheel. And no right of anywhere of this corporate company of the United States of America do they have the right to pull a gun on me simply because I'm turning my emergency brakes. You know, you can see this right here. There's no guns here. There's a water bottle. There's a Sprite Zero, but I didn't have that in the car at the time. I had this water bottle right here. I had some stuff on the seat, and I turned on my e-brake just like that. And that's whenever you pulled a gun on me. You know, and that really upset me. And at that point, he told me keep my hands on the wheel and to get out of the car. I don't know why, but I told him that I was that I did not consent to anything, and he said that he smelled marijuana in the car, and that he was going to pull me out, and I had to listen to him. And I said, why do I have to listen to you? And he said, it's the law. So it's the law for me to listen to a public servant, a servant who serves the public, who says they're protecting us, and I have to listen to him. You know, I mean, I'm a protester to the taxes, because that's why we rebelled against the United Kingdom, because of us taxation without representation. It's also the state. It's on all license plates from D.C. Taxation without representation, because it's a federal jurisdiction of the United States of America, that corporate entity. You know, I was telling this officer that at this point, you know, whenever he pulled the gun on me and said to get out of the car, that's whenever I was, you know, I don't want to get shot, because I don't want to be one of those people on the news that get shot every other day by these corrupt pigs, by these public servants who's supposed to be serving you and me, but yet that doesn't stop them from causing a ruckus. But, you know, I told him how he worked for me, and, you know, he serves the public. I am the public. He serves me. He took an oath to uphold the Constitution for me, to uphold my rights. And at this point, I did identify myself as the authorized representative of this corporate entity. And he started asking if I was a lawyer. And I told him, no, I'm not a lawyer. I know the law, though. And I know how things are supposed to be. And he is breaking the law by doing this, by pulling the gun on me. And at this point, one of his, I think it was the watch commander, had come alongside my right side passenger window. And that's whenever he started tapping on the glass with a little hammer. And I thought he was going to break that shit. And I said, I do not consent to any search and seizure of this vehicle. If you want me out of the vehicle, you ask. And you ask politely. You know. Although I personally do not recognize this straw man that the corporate entity, the United States of America, has put for me, I did identify this straw man that they had in the books, in the numbers, because I've been reduced to nothing but numbers on a paper. You know, with your credit report, that's numbers now. You are no longer your person. You are no longer your real person to this corporate entities. You are nothing but numbers, and I do not like that. I do not consent to that, and I feel obligated to peacefully protest that. Anyway, though, you know, my window's fine. He didn't break it. They did demand that I get out of the vehicle, and I told him again and again, I do not consent. I'm not obligated to get out of this vehicle simply because it is your command. Because you're a public servant. You're supposed to serve me. You know, and that's whenever the watch commander started threatening to break my door down and break my windows down. And I said, first off, you do not break my door. You do not touch my property illicitly like this. You know, I'm a lawful rebel. And it is recognized under common law and under the Magna Carta, which is the bedrock of most constitutions. The Magna Carta, it goes back to that because it talks about the rights of men, you know. And I mean men as in mankind, because, you know, there's a lot of other free women of the land who I really owe respect to, you know. And that's when the watch commander and I rolled down my passenger window and we started having a conversation. I completely ignored this officer over here as he did withdraw his weapon, and he did holster it after some due time. I started to speak with the officer, the watch commander, and he and I started talking, and I told him, this is not maritime law. He has no jurisdiction over me. You know, he's trying to make this about law of commerce, law of ownership, and citizenship. You know, with the ships in there, it reverts to maritime law and admiralty. And this is not naval jurisdiction. We are not under maritime law, and I had to inform him of that. I do not own a ship. I'm on land, and therefore I'm not obligated to abide by his maritime law, nor do I have to consent, nor am I obligated to listen to the commands. You know, I'm on land. I'm under common law, and that common law has higher superiority than admiralty law. And I asked the watch commander, do you have a claim against me? And he asked what I meant, trying to play coy, trying to play stupid. And maybe he was stupid. Maybe all these cops trying to arrest me were stupid, and they didn't know the laws, and I had to inform it of them. I had to be the trainee or the trainer to these cops, these people who spend all of their life serving the public. But it was at this point that I did inform the officers that, you know, if they do not have a claim against me, I will continue along my day. I will drive up and I will drive away. And that is whenever he's threatened to break my window down and drag me out of my car before I have the ability to put into drive. And at this point, I realized putting an e-brake was a mistake, because legally I could drive away. You know, I was trying to ask him, am I being detained or am I free to go? He would not answer me to either one of them. And I was like, if you do not answer me, because it's the same way with the taser. You know, if someone's going to tase you, I have to warn you 3 times before they tase you. Same with canine units. I will send the canine on you 3 times. I will tase you if you do not stop resisting. They have to say it 3 times. And if they don't, then they can be in trouble for that. It's their training. And it's how I think it's called the X27, the taser guns. It's how they train with it. You warn the suspect 3 times. And I said it 3 times. Am I under arrest? Am I being detained? Or am I free to go? Nobody would answer this. Not even the watch commander. He just said that he was telling me to get out of the car, and I said I do not feel safe to exit my vehicle right now. You know, because at this point, these people they didn't know anything. So how did I know these people weren't just scammers? How did I know these actually weren't public servants and just robbers playing dress up? And it was at this point that I tried to put off the e-brake, and you can hear the noise. It sounds like a Warren noise. It's the brakes lifting off the pads. Hold on, let me turn down this. Hold on. You probably can't hear that, but it's like a Warren noise of the things going off the brake pads. And it was at this point, whenever he heard that, he tried to you know, pull out his baton. And that's whenever one of the other officers on this side, the driver's side window, pulled their gun on me. And that's whenever the watch commander opened my passenger door illegally without my consent. And that's whenever all the other officers started to storm me, and they dragged me from my vehicle unlawfully. They dragged me away, and they put me in cuffs, and they put me in restraints, which it felt like they were trying to enslave me, you know. It felt like I was now being forced to conform to their ways of life that I do not wish to conform with, you know, assimilation under their authority. And I do not consent to that. I do not believe in that, you know. Although I do possess this straw man identity, I'm not that. I'm my own person. I represent that person, but I'm my own person. But they did arrest me, and my mom had to bail me out of jail. I went before the judge, and I tried to explain to the judge, you know, law of commerce, and I had to explain to him about, you know, things from the Magna Carta under common law as well, because, you know, people say you're not under common law. Well, the state of Maryland just arrested somebody just a few days ago for trying to commit suicide, which is illegal under common law. So the state of Maryland, they still utilize common law, except in this courtroom, it's not recognized, really. Let me just take a sip from my water bottle. I need more water. Oh, it's mine. But you know, I spoke with the judge, and I did identify myself as the legal representative of this corporate entity they put on me. I'm nothing but, well, this straw man's nothing but numbers now, you know. And he did recognize that, thankfully. At least someone knew something. And I did choose to represent myself, and he set my bail. And next time I'll try recording in the courtroom if I can. I'll see if my mom can't record. You know, she's really scared for me for the civil disobedience stuff, so I'll be doing my best, you know. But you really just have to prove yourself to the man, you know. I mean, this is my first time going through this stuff. If I can, I'll try and find my old videotape whenever I was arrested for possession of narcotics and intent to distribute. Man, it was nothing but a little meth and weed, man, you know. But anyway, it's FMotL446, free man of the land. Just all y'all gotta keep safe, and all y'all gotta stick to your guns, and then we gonna take over. Not take over, actually take over, but I mean, you know, this movement's gonna get around. We gotta keep going, you know. We gotta keep strong. Yeah, keep strong, everyone. All right, peace.